What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Daily Refinement. This is the weekly mastermind call. If you guys want to join, you can join at zoom.us and you can type in the code 939-295-220. I do this call every single Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you guys want to hop on, let me just let somebody else in. Let's see. What's going on, everybody? So, okay, let's get into it. So, if you guys want to join the call, hit 939-295-220. We're getting into the call a little bit earlier today, but the purpose of this call is to help people reach their reselling goal. You might be either doing this to save money for a college fund for your kid. Maybe you want to retire early. Whatever your goal is, let me know. We will help you achieve that. So I need everybody right now in the chat or in the comment section below, if you guys are listening to this, put your 90-day goal. What is your objective? To give you guys an example, in this new store that I'm putting for this experiment of building a $1,000 a week income by eBay Open, which is in a couple of weeks, in 3 weeks from now, that store should do $400 or $500 a day in sales, and I need to get it up to 40,000 listed to do that. But my Q2 goal, which goes from now for the next 90 days, is actually to have 100,000 listed in that store. So if you guys want to join, hop on the call 939-295-220 zoom.us every single Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard. We'll go over your goals and I'll just be giving a class. If this works out, I can actually do it every day because I have a little bit more time. But let's get into it. If you want to join, hop in. Angela, can you chat? Actually, hold on one second. Sorry, let me see if this is working. Wait, go ahead, Angela. Let's see, I can't hear you yet. I think it's my end. Let me see. I don't know if you are chatting or not. Let me see. Tiffany, I see you in the chat. If you want to hop in, you can as well. Money Saving Mofos, shout out to her. So Brian's goal is $500 a week. Chaz's goal is hitting 2,000 in sales as a part-time reseller. Awesome.
What?
Wait, are you back?
Isn't that crazy?
I just muted Angela. I'm not sure what's going on there. But yeah, Keith, if you want to hop in, the information, the call number is in the title. I'm going to add it in real quick before we get started. Sorry, guys, for the slow start today. But I want to help everybody reach their 90-day goal. So what you guys want to do, I'll help you reverse engineer it. So let's just go ahead and start with the example of trying to quit your job, right? Let's say somebody wants to get to $1,000 a week net income, right? So I would recommend roughly $3,000 a week in sales. So what that means, guys, is each week you're selling about $3,000. 1,000 of it is the cost of the goods, meaning you try to buy stuff at 1/3. 1/3 is the expenses like the eBay fees or PayPal fees or Poshmark fee or Mercari fee, whatever fee that you're paying. For me, selling shoes, I know that my average shipping cost is around $9. You guys need to understand your shipping costs. And for me, I pay around 10% for the platform fee. And if it's on eBay, about 3.5% for PayPal. Throw in about a 5% return rate. And we're looking at roughly, I'd say, that's why I want a $40 average sale price and about a $13 cost of goods sold, $13 for my fees, leaves me $13 left for profit. So if you guys have any questions on that, just email me at Chris@DailyRefinement or basically do that goal for yourself. So if somebody in the chat wants to hop in and we can go over those goals, that would be awesome. The one thing that I recommend for you guys is you need to write down exactly the goal that you are looking for, because the more specific your goal is, the easier it is for you to achieve this. So if you guys have read this book, please put in the chat. The goal is, the name of the book is Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't listened to it, it's free on YouTube if you want to just type in Think and Grow Rich, but I'd appreciate it if you go down to the Audible link below and download audible.com and download that book for free. Or if you're feeling really ambitious, download The Laws of Success, which is the book that that's based on. And that book is roughly 50 hours long. Okay, so if you guys have a 50 hours of time, which you do while you're listing and sourcing, you want to listen to that book because every single self-help book and leadership thing, everything Tony Robbins has ever said, all from that one book. So called The Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill. Use that link in the description below. Get that book for free. Pablo, what's up? So, okay, Brittany is saying 12K a month in sales between eBay and Poshmark. Totally doable. That's exactly the same goal as this mini store by eBay Open. And so that's roughly $400 a day. And if you want to go by the 1% a day rule, what that rule is if you have $40,000 listed in your store, 1% selling a day would mean $400, but basic math. So that's a really, really good goal, Brittany. And with most people, and where, depending on where you live, you can get by on 12K a month in sales, and just have to make sure that your store is big enough. The number of items in your store is not as important as the amount listed, because you could have 100,000 keychains in your store that are $2 each that you lose money on. So the number of items doesn't matter. It's actually the revenue and then your sell-through rate of how fast things are selling through. Let's see. Brittany is probably selling clothes or shoes if she's selling on Poshmark. So Pablo is going for increasing inventory by 35K. That is an amazing goal. So basically his objective is to increase the amount in his store by $10,000 per month. Pablo has the same goal for his store as this public store that I'm doing, which is 200K listed. The amount listed in your store, if you have a quarterly turn, meaning your stuff sells every 90 days or so, that means that 3 or 4 times a year, your inventory will turn. And if you have a decent profit margin, if you're doubling your money when you invest in something, you can expect that number listed to be about how much money you make per year. The only exception to that rule would be is if your sell-through rate is unusually fast or unusually slow. So for example, I know some resellers that only list $20,000 in stuff in their store each month, but 14, 15,000 of it sells because they're only buying on point items and they're selling it below market, meaning a $20 item, they're probably selling for 14 free shipping. That would be the only way to get that kind of pace in your store. And usually when I see that, those people just barely get by. That's not a recommended model. I recommend you get a bigger store and have a higher dollar amount, more of a long tail type store where you can at least double your money, but not just double your money, but make at least $10, $15, $20 profit per item. Because if you buy something for $1 and sell it for 14, yes, you did turn $1 into 5, but that's still only $5. Somebody who listed an item that makes $20 profit just did 25% of the work as you and earned the same amount of money. So you can definitely do less work with the larger store if you want to go that way. Let's see. Let me get Angela on the chat. Angela is saying she wants to profit $1,000 a month in 90 days. Are you able to chat? Because you are on the call. I can unmute you if you want to chat for a minute. Can you hear me? No audio for Angela, but her goal is to profit $1,000 a month in 90 days. This is also a fantastic goal. So for those in the chat, if you are just starting out, please let me know in the discussion. But $1,000 a month is great. That basically means around $10,000 listed, in my opinion. If you have $10,000 listed, let me get Teresa in here, and you sell a third of it, you'd have $3,000 a month in sales, and 1/3 of that coming through, and you would be at $1,000 profit. Yep. Let's see here. Money Saving Mofos. This is Tiffany. She started today, 513, goal of 1,500 listings. That's awesome. So Tiffany is going to try to raise her store from 513 listings to 1,500 by October. That's awesome. Um, yes, and she is saying that her kids constantly distract her. So this is a, kind of like a huge issue that happens to recur. I mean, I hear this problem all the time, and the reality of this is that you can either just like get a babysitter or some time, like for example some gyms have time where you can get 2 hours a day of childcare while you go to the gym, and some people use this time to list or something. It's just the amount of work you can get done while you're distracted is so low compared to dedicated work. I would almost rather you just get a sitter for 10 hours a week and the rest of the time you just spend with your kid instead of the distracted um, kind of listing while your kid is in the background. You're not really spending time with your kid. You're not really spending time on your business. I haven't really seen that work. I've seen people do like, a couple $1,000s a month in sales, which is fine. But you could do $10,000 a month or more if you just had dedicated time and 10 hours a week. I get it. Your kids are growing up fast. That's why I just did that series with Rebecca, the Reseller Mom Show, because for her, um a couple $1,000s a month's not enough. She's trying to like put away some serious money, build up some savings, and that's going to require sort of like a larger commitment. I don't know if you can do it with your kid. I've never seen that. I live in an area where I would say 30% of the women I meet make six figures or more, right? So when I hear the girl power thing or the girl boss thing, I meet women like that all the time. But the thing is, they usually don't have kids, right? The trying to earn that much income takes a lot of time. So I'm just trying to balance it out with parents to give yourself realistic expectations. I've actually never seen it. I've never seen somebody build like a $1,000 a week income and be a mom simultaneously in a sense that the kid is always there. I've never seen that. I've seen it where the mom leaves in the morning, works, comes back from 2 till 10, they're with their kid. But I just haven't seen the like, changing a diaper, go back, take 4 pictures, feed the kid, write some descriptions. I don't know how you do that. That sounds insane to me. I get that there are parents that do that, but I don't know if you can earn a full-time income multitasking like that. Um, let's see. So yeah, Tiffany did join a gym for that same reason. She joined a gym for that 2 hours of childcare time. That's a very common hack. But instead of working out, people are working on their business. So that's just something that some people do, and it's up to you. If you guys are parents trying to work on an eBay store, please let me know in the chat what kind of resources you need to save time, how to batch. But I'm telling you another thing that has really helped me boost my business is not batch work, meaning like not taking the photographs all at once, listing all at once, describing all at once, doing it all start to finish in one batch. That way, listings are going live. Every time I have a few minutes, a listing goes live. There's no like waiting all until one day and then one day 100 go live. It just start to finish, it goes up. So that's been tremendously useful for me. And I think that if you're really taking this seriously, you make so many less errors when you don't do batch work because you're just doing it one at a time. So yes, it's somewhat slower. It's like 1 or 2 minutes slower a listing if you do it one at a time, but there are no mistakes. You can see it all the way through. You can put the item. I actually put the item away. I take the item, describe it, photograph it, upload the photo, pack the item, and put it away, and then I start that process over again. So that's been my sell-through rate is on fire right now. Stuff is selling so fast because it's one at a time. I'm researching the market and taking my time. So yes, that makes the store a little bit smaller, but for most people in the chat, I'd say 90% of the resellers that I meet do $2,000 or less a month in sales. They're not really making that much. And they have piles of things they photographed, piles of things they've described, piles of things they haven't put away yet. And that's so harmful to your business and psyche, having all these unfinished piles. I'd recommend you do them one at a time and just go on a smaller scale. Let's go with Teresa. Teresa, can you chat? I can unmute you if you want to chat right now. Yeah. Let's see. For some reason, I can't hear you. Can you chat again, Teresa? Can you guys in the chat hear Teresa? Because I can't hear her on my end. This is going to be really boring if it's just me talking the whole time. Let me see here. No Teresa yet. All right. Well, I'll just keep going. I'll just keep answering questions in the chat. Let's see. How long do I list an item before lowering the price? Great question. Okay, so the way that I handle my pricing is every 30 days I lower the price, and I lower it roughly by $5. And the reason why I do that is to keep it fresh, and I want to keep the inventory in my store moving. So I'll leave it up for 30 days. The way I keep track is the start page, and when the start date. So when the start date hits 30 days, I lower the price 5%. I'm doing that for 5 months, and at 6 months, I'm actually going to auction the item off at starting at $10. And the reason why I'm going to do that, I'm probably going to lose money on that transaction every 6 months, but it's okay because I want to keep that inventory churning, and I want people to start shopping at my store regularly. I'm also moving towards consignment. So what that means is the person, I don't want to pay for any inventory. I want the inventory coming into me. And my contract, which is on dailyrefinement.com, if you guys want to copy it, just says, look, we're going to list your item at what I think it's going to sell at. We're not going to have best offer. We're going to lower it by 5% a month for 5 months. At the 6 month point, if it's still not sold, I'm going to auction it for $10. We're going to split it 60-40, whatever happens. You can get paid out. So maybe not be what you're looking for, but don't consign with me if you're not okay with that. That way I can just have stuff constantly churning through the store, and that will create a little bit of a buzz. And then also people have a timeline, because consignment can get really hairy if you don't have these rules, and people just leave their stuff in your store forever. Teresa, let me unmute you again and see if it works. Let's see. I still can't hear you. Sorry, there's some technical difficulty. It's probably on my end. I will figure out how to fix it. But for right now, I can't hear you, Teresa, for some reason. Let's see. Passion for Vintage says you're having major problems with pricing and feel overwhelmed with how to price your items. You're not sure if you're overpricing or underpricing it. Great. This is a great question. And you're not making consistent sales. Okay. Over the weekend, I actually didn't post on YouTube for a few days because I was getting so many emails about slow sales, and people are really struggling to price their items correctly. So this is really important. I think you can actually learn the skill. Okay, for me, the way I look at an item is, who is looking for this item? Let me give you guys an example. This is a Gengar plush Pokemon toy, right? So how I would determine what the price is this item at, doesn't say I got it for free or $1 at a garage sale. I would look online in the sold section for stuff that's similar. This exact plushie might be on eBay, but I'm going to look at the market and see, like, okay, I know this in Japan retails for like $40. They're ridiculously expensive. You can get them here for maybe $26, $27 is the rate. I know this because I like Pokemon and I look at their toys all the time. So if I was going to try to move this item quickly, I would do like $15 to $20 free shipping. Now, that's the thing, is I'm trying to move my inventory quickly. If you are trying to get full pop, you can list it for $27 to $30 and wait who knows how long to get this item to sell, because that's the full market rate. If you're selling on eBay, people are looking for a good deal. They want stuff to move quickly. It's hard. You have to understand what category you're in, and you have to sort of play with it and get an idea. And that's why I always start too high. I just posted that pair of Kenneth Cole. I just went over this in my previous video this morning. This pair of shoes, I think it was worth $35. Okay, but there were not any similar ones to it, so I priced it at $45, thinking to myself, okay, let's see how good I am at pricing. I'm gonna wait two months, discount at $5 each time, and it should sell at $35. $100 pair of shoes, excellent condition. I think it's worth $35, but it's sold at $45. Right, there's another pair of Cole Haan wingtips that I listed for $70. I thought that was a good price, but I ended up not being able to sell it until I lowered it to $55. So you don't know. You have to experiment in the market and get an idea of what you're comparing the different items to. Here's another example. I'm starting to flip cameras. So this is a Sony A5100 vlogging camera. It's very, very, very popular because it has the flip up screen for vlogging, and it has this really good sensor. But it has overheating issues. So it's not very good as a vlogging camera because after about 12 minutes, it shuts off. So I know that. So what happens is there's a lot of these in the market because people bought them to vlog and they hate them because it what's it called? It overheats after about 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm starting to do some homework and figure out how to get these for cheap. The market sells for, the cameras sell between $300 and $350 locally. And I picked up a few of them already for about $200 to $250. I'm learning the market. This is one of the most popular cameras ever. The Sony Alpha series, they have the 5000, the 5100, 6000, 6300, 6400, whatever. And I'm doing all the homework to really learn what these sell for. If you understand your market, you won't have a problem pricing. The only thing that you would have a problem with is if you don't understand your particular market, you won't know how to price and you'll panic. But you don't need to be good at sales. You just need to do the research in that specific category in order to move that way. If you guys want to join this chat, you can go to zoom.com. The code is in the title, 939-295-220. I'm not sure why the audio is not working right now, but we will fix it. Let's see here.
I'm just trying it again, Chris.
Oh, you're back.
Yes.
I can hear you.
I tried to unmute it myself before when you were, I think we were kind of probably negating each other by going back and forth. So
no worries. Can everybody hear Teresa now? I think people can hear you now, but I'm just going to make sure before we continue.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, she's back. Okay, perfect, Teresa. So do you want to go
Chris,
over your goal
first
again?
of all, my goals, I had a really good week this week. So my numbers didn't increase as much from last week. Last week I was at 1117, and this week I'm only at like 1139, and I would listed like crazy this week every day. It's just my sell-through just went through the roof, which is great. But my goal, that means, is so much further because I want to double that number in the next like 60 days. So I got to really get to work. But you make a great point. I just wanted to talk about that for a second about, with the camera and stuff. That was, I'm doing eBay a long time. And that was kind of how I learned this business. Was I started with just one thing. Like I knew books, and I just did that for a few years and just got to know all about that category. And then I went to some collectibles and got to know about those categories, knowing like, is a pocketbook real or it's not real? And just as you add things, you just get to grow and learn everything, and then we got into the clothes and get to know brand names and what sells. And I think, unfortunately that market today is very saturated, but we still do a lot of clothes. Books, not so much. But as you learn things, you learn to know. I'm back to collectibles a lot again because the price margins are so great. You can buy, glasses at a yard sale or dishes or something for like $1 or $2 and flip them for like $20, $30, $40 sometimes, So that's a great point about just learning, just not to take everything on all at once. I think that was the big thing, but that's what I'm trying to do now, is really get my listings per, like getting that $20 to $30 per unit comfortable range so that I don't have to list 10,000 things to have a great month. But they're long tail. That's the only thing you got to survive. That's a long tail item. But my goal in the next year is to quit my full-time job and have enough so that my husband's going to retire in a year, and so that I can just do this and we can live on just the eBay. So that's a big goal, because I'm here in New York and you know what we pay to live here. And I got to replace a 6-figure income.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that last sentence?
I have to replace a 6-figure income.
Okay, you have to replace a 6-figure income. Awesome. So, and you have the space.
Yes.
Okay, so just about the inventory, I need the Matt just mentioned that the video has been disabled, so I need to figure out how to fix that. But okay, So this. I'm glad that you are focusing on one thing at a time, because and this is how I would approach it if I were you, Teresa. Because a six-figure income, the way I do it, the way I think of it is, I want to get to $100 profit a day, or I'm not gonna mess with that category if I can't make $100 a day profit or more. So as an example, in the Sony camera category, just this category, I could definitely make $100 a day just in my area, because there are so many cameras. But you would need to understand how many of them are around, what the different price points are, how to fix some of them, etc. The thing is, like, if you pick Banana Republic blouses, you would probably need 1,000 blouses in stock, perfectly photographed and described, in order to make $100 a day in that category, because the demand is so low. I don't even know if you could do it. I don't even know if that category, that specific brand, you could get to $100 a day net. That seems extremely challenging. But
that would definitely be challenging.
So for you, I would say 3 of those would equal a six-figure income.
Okay, so 3 different categories. And it's definitely not clothes, unless you're buying, men's suits at wholesale, or getting really good, thrift store prices and things like that. Because clothes are very saturated. Clothes are very hard, unless you find in a Harley Davidson leather motorcycle jacket for cheap, and you're flipping something like that. But your everyday, to your point, Banana Republic and stuff like that, it's just, and it's too time consuming. My time is valuable as well.
Absolutely. And I'm going to also mention that somebody asked to be more specific when it comes to categories. So I will try to make this more specific. So let's say you want to pick women's running shoes as a category. Okay, so women's running shoes, that's a little bit more broad. You could add in Brooks, you could add in Asics, you could add in Nike, you could add in Adidas, and you could really understand the different types of running shoes that women like to wear. And then you have a larger pool to pick from. So you could pick women's running shoes as one of your categories. You could pick Sony cameras as a second category. So let me give you an idea of the difference. If I was going to try to flip running shoes, my guess would be around 200 or 300 pairs of women's running shoes. You can make $100 a day. That would be just the math, me thinking to myself, how many of them? But $100 profit for Sony cameras is probably only 10 cameras, because you can sell almost all your cameras the same week that you buy them, because the category is so hot. But in a hot category, you're going to have a lot of fraud. Some people are going to buy your camera and return their old broken camera. It's the more expensive the category, the more fraud that there is. So you have to be, you have to know what you're doing. But again, it depends on how big your store is. If you're selling Rolexes, you only need one watch a month to earn that minimum. You could potentially make $3,000 on one watch. So it depends on what category you are in. But just, if you're not going to get into it enough to learn it, then it's not going to work. Let's go to Pablo. Can you chat? Dang, I can't hear you. Let me see if I can fix. How do I get this up? Can't hear you yet, Pablo.
Chris, can you still hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think what he has to do, and this is how I figured it out, not only his mic that's on his screen, but if he hovers down in the bottom left-hand corner, there's also a start chat or start video. So you have to click that start chat as well. It's the left-hand side at the lower part of the video.
Okay. So he has to activate his audio as well.
Yes.
Okay. Pablo, if you can get that working, that would be awesome. Let's see. Somebody asked about vintage collectible. Okay, this is a great question. Wait, is that you, Pablo?
Oh, is it fine now?
Yeah, it works now.
Oh, I didn't do anything, but okay.
So real quick before I get into you, Pablo. So in the vintage category and collectibles, I'd say it's only 5% sell through. It is ridiculously slow. If you go to the eBay community board, which is where they want people that sell on eBay to go to, and you look at the people who are complaining, 99.9% of them sell vintage or collectible items. And it's because the sell-through rate is so slow. Like you'd be lucky if you had 100 items in your store to sell 5 per month because no one is looking for those goods. It's just it's almost like you're just lucky if you sell one of them because there's such low traffic compared to we're going to go to Pablo right now and he sells sneakers and millions of people are looking for sneakers. It's totally different. Pablo, can you share your 90-day goal?
Oh, yeah. So what I said up here, let me just repeat this. I can't find it. But yeah. So basically, I try to up my inventory by 10 grand a month if possible. So for example, this last month I couldn't do that. That's for some other factors, but for sure I'm trying to get 35 grand up these next 90 days. And that is that, and then I'm trying to pay my employee a little bit more since I'm leaving, and I won't be here full time all the time. And third, just gonna try to time manage between college and eBay.
That is awesome. And guys, I'll see people are saying your audio is a little bit low, but I love what Pablo is doing because there's a huge hack that he's doing right now, which is he's paying a little bit more.
Sorry, man. I thought that was my truck. I'm right here.
Well, somebody was too soft. Pablo, you're too soft, but Craig was too loud. Go ahead.
Wait, is it good? Hello?
Yeah,
Is it
it's
louder?
better. It's still a little bit low, but go ahead.
Okay. No, what are you saying? I don't know. I was just testing.
No, I was just saying that the fact that you're paying your worker a little bit more is really smart because so many people pay as little as possible, and then your worker is not going to be that interested.
Yeah, that's really important. So I kind of got this from you because, well, before I was in the group, right? And yeah, so this person, they have a bunch of side gigs, and I know that, any day they could potentially, I'm trying to build that relationship to where, they stay a little bit more long term-ish. So I know I'm paying them maybe like $25 an hour, like overall, but like it's definitely worth it because even like just budgeting wise, like even if it's $300 more, like I know that person will do that job every single day and I won't have that headache.
Agreed. I think $25 an hour is sort of what you need to pay your workers for them not to look for other gigs because otherwise it's really challenging. But you need to have your job so clear that $25 an hour isn't destroying you.
For sure.
Also, it's sort of like the profit per item. For example, if you make less than $10 an item profit, you can't hire someone. It's too much expense for the amount of profit that you're going to make. But Pablo plays in the above $20 profit margin per item. Actually, a little bit more, I think.
Actually, so I don't
Did it go down?
look at. Wait, hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually don't look at my dollar amount I net. I just look at the percentage I net.
Okay.
But yeah, for the most part, I can kind of guesstimate it is definitely like above 15. Like I'd say in between like 17 and 30.
Okay.
For sure.
That's important. If you want to get it, if you want to keep your worker interested, you have to make a higher ASP. This is why, guys, retail still exists. Like if you go to a store, the reason why they can afford to hire employees is they charge retail. Like when you go into a store like Banana Republic, the retail store, you're not paying $14. You're paying $35 or $40 for something because they need that full retail in order to pay for the building and the employees and all the security. It's expensive to run a brick and mortar. They charge a lot more. It's something to keep in mind. You're doing it at home. You don't have any expenses. That's why the cost can be so low. But let's go to Craig. Craig, can you chat?
Yeah, sure, man. Thanks.
What's going on? Where are you from? What do you sell?
I'm in St. Cloud, Florida, right outside of Orlando.
Okay.
I've been nickel and diamond, a little bit here and there, kind of a seasonal to pay for family vacations and everything else since about 2004 on eBay. And I was even doing Amazon a little bit back then. Not consistent, just a little bit here and there. And I think about last October, I went out and got an LLC. Started doing buying big pallets from liquidation places and stuff like that. I'm not too much of a thrifter. I don't really know the value of different things and stuff. I'm more of a researcher and like stats and stuff like that. That's why I kind of like your channel a little bit, because that's what you like to do, like stats and everything, statistics, you know. And it saves time doing that instead of going out driving around and looking for stuff to buy. You know, I mean, I don't have time to drive. I got 2 kids and they're in sports and one's in practice right now. I just walked out the gym to check out your show real quick, you know, and you know, I try to maximize my time like that, and that's about it, man. Really, I mean, I'm doing well. I've been at it since full bore since February or March of this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think June I had a goal of 1,800 gross, which I hit this month on eBay. Last month was 1,700 in May, and also Amazon. It was about 1,000, 1,500, something like that on Amazon both months.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just due to like bathing suits. I mean, well, I don't know what I'm going to do after summer to get on Amazon. You know, so I'm like searching hard for something else to get on Amazon, and I'm running dry on ideas, to be honest with you.
So this is great. I'm glad that you brought that up, because I enjoy thrifting, but it's not scalable. So like when people are talking about hunting and looking for goods, like, you know, I have time to go to 33 stores and don't have kids. I don't have the overhead as far as time. If you don't have time, you have to bulk buy. And there is not really a guarantee of what you're going to get. If you do liquidation pallets or closeout, that's, I would say, one level above thrifting, because you can get a bunch of stuff in. And this is probably, in my opinion, the most stable form of reselling what you're doing right now, because you're always getting stuff in. It's so cheap that you're going to be able to make a profit. It is still time intensive, and you can grow that to any size you want, because the relationship you have with the people that you're getting pallets from will improve over time. But mixed in there, you need to do some wholesale research, which is the most boring part of reselling. But you need to find someone that can supply you Halloween goods now, because you need to figure out what you need to get that stuff in right now. If you want to sell it during Halloween, you need to start working on Christmas stuff right now. If you're working on the seasonality of stuff that sells quick, bathing suits are going to go quick right now, but they're not going to sell at all in October. So this cycle is going to continue. And that list of like each week, how many people do you email? How many people do you call? How do you get that going? And plus, I know for sure if you have kids, I don't think you can source one by one.
And well, another thing is too, I work full time.
Yeah, that's
I work a full time job as well. You know, I mean, I when I get up in the morning, I'm packing orders at 5 o'clock in the morning, early at 4:30 in the morning. I'm packing orders of stuff that's sold in the middle of the night, because I do one day fast and free on eBay. And then go to my full time job. I get out of there, midday, and then I go back home, and I'm listing for hours or sorting through stuff. And my garage is like a little warehouse. I have racks everywhere. It's like a maze. I mean, it's just like, that's another thing. It's like space wise, I don't know how much more I can fit. My house is decent size. It's about 2,500 almost 2,500 square feet. I just have me and the 2 kids there, and it's like, I don't know how much more stuff I can fit in this house. One of the bedrooms is just an office. It's basically turned into a shipping room. It used to be like a guest bedroom for my kids' friends to stay the night and stuff like that, but I mean, that's pretty much turned, now they're going head to toe in the bedroom, so it's like, how much more stuff. So the stuff that I was originally selling, like home goods and stuff like that, and it was going great on Marketplace. Like Marketplace, I was like flipping this stuff left and right, and then I got some bad shipments. I mean, a lot of the stuff was like not what they said it was going to be. It was just, I'm going to the dump and I'm taking pictures of all the stuff I'm dumping. I mean, I counted like $1,800 worth of damage on one lot, and stuff that wasn't in there that was supposed to be in there. So a lot of it was learning too, like who not to buy from. Even when you think it's a reputable company, who not to buy from, who to buy from. I mean, what product is actual junk, because I don't want to sell junk to somebody. I don't want to have it returned. I don't want to, sell something to somebody on Marketplace or offer up and then have them, contact me, hey, this is broke already or this or that. I don't want to deal with any of that. So I want to sell quality stuff. And so I'm willing to take a loss to sell, quality stuff. I'll take it and get rid of it. I don't mess around with none of that. Oh, well, let's just try to, oh, you can sell it. Let's just dump it, take the loss and get rid of it. Cause I'm trying to build something to sustain here. I want people to build like customers that come back over and over again because they know that, hey, I'm going to take care of them and I'm legitimately trying to give them something of quality. And
I love it.
Yeah. And with liquidation, that's hard to do, especially with
Mm-hmm.
home goods, electronics and everything else. Yeah. That stuff was selling fast. It was, I was moving it, man. I was moving it hard. And then next thing you know, you get some bad stuff and it's like, now it ain't going nowhere. Now, what am I going to do with this? And I had to sell this stuff dirt cheap. I mean, real cheap. And a lot of this stuff is Florida's like you. I seen one of your shows the other day. And you were saying like they had that reseller lady from Orlando on there. And there's a lot of resellers down here, man. There's a lot of competition. A lot.
There is.
It is. And they're selling stuff dirt cheap. Some of them are absolutely ridiculous because they got all the overhead.
I know.
I want no overhead, none. I don't want to rent a storage unit. I don't want to do none of that. I'll go build me a shed in my backyard before I go get a storage unit. I already have a shed. I'll build a second one, and I'll insulate it and everything else before I have a monthly bill that I got to eat, just because I need it because the competition down here is so rough.
Yep.
I found a CPA. All right. And because we use Excel, my girlfriend and me were basically pretty much doing this together. And, she's an algebra teacher. So she does all the bookkeeping for me. And we found a CPA and we use Excel and we line everything up so good that she basically told us that you guys are doing all the work for me. And she's charging us $25 just to submit it into the IRS for us. That's all she has to do is just submit it. She looks at it. She's like, you guys are good. And just submits it right in for $25. So, I think we're getting a hell of a deal from this lady for this. Hopefully she just knows e-commerce as good as I hope she does, because we've only been with her for like a couple months now. So, and that is because somebody's a CPA doesn't mean they know every side of every business and every nook and cranny. So I'm hoping, that she's going to be able to give us all the tips in that area as well.
So this is one thing I want to suggest for you, Craig. So for everyone on the call and those listening online, and if you guys are enjoying this, please smash the like button. But one thing that is really going to take everyone to the next level is the more business to business relationships you have, the more this grows. So as an example, either if you have, if you know some local resellers that sell cheaper things, or they want to spend the time working through items that you would just normally dispose of at the landfill, that might be a good relationship to develop, because the hardest part of liquidation is getting rid of the bottom 40% of stuff that's not worth your time, because it takes time to even throw it away. That takes a long processing time, space, and you need a third of your area completely clear so that when you dump off the new load, you can process and get through it. But so I'm learning this from a gentleman named Ty Blunt. He's a cool guy that has moved 100% towards consignment. I've done the same thing. I'm trying to compete with people that are building a shed in their backyard. I'm paying $2 a square foot for space. This 400 square foot apartment's almost $3,000. The cost to do eBay here is so high that I have to do a really, really high amount of volume to make this work. So I'm moving more towards the consignment model. I'm finding people with goods that they need to sell. And businesses is what's going to be key. If I was in Florida, I would be going to golf courses, and I'd find out what happens to your demo equipment at the end of the season, what happens to your off-season clothing, where does it go? Instead of selling it to a liquidator for 10 cents on the dollar, let me do it on consignment for you. I'll give you 40 cents on the dollar after it sells. That way you can take the risk out of your own capital and money and put it in just how good are you at flipping the stuff. Everyone needs to move towards consignment, because there's so much stuff that's sold. When these companies liquidate their goods, they get 10% of the MSRP. That's what it costs. I'm looking at these
Yes, you're right.
People
10%.
buying $100,000 worth of stuff at Costco. Like the cost on that that truck is $8,000 on $100,000 with the stuff from Costco. They're paying $8,000 and then they're selling it to you, and you don't know what you're getting in the box. It could be all diapers. It could be all blenders that are all broken. You have no idea. So like, but if you can get a relationship directly with Costco, they'll do it in a heartbeat. You just have to find the right person because you're going to pay them way more than the liquidator. And then now you have some margin. Like you're getting it for basically free. They're allowing you to take the stuff for free at first. And everyone needs to move that model. It's very hard, but it's very expensive to compete. That's why I live right next to eBay, and there's the reseller meetup is like 20 people. Nobody here resells because you have to get a real job in order to afford living here. So like, I love this chat because in Florida, the rent is not as crazy as here, or the living costs. So people can, they can resell there, but also there's companies like B Stock that are based in Florida that do a massive amount of wholesale and liquidation too. So Florida is really interesting. I should come down there, and I bet I could get a pretty decent meetup, just people in Florida, because there's just so many resellers down there.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and that's a great idea about the golf course. I'm within like minutes of a handful. I'm like right in the middle of a whole bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something definitely. And I have gone to some other companies, some big companies down here, and inquired about getting their scratch and dent and stuff like that. And now we're talking about space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I considered a brick and mortar,
mm-hmm.
maybe to do that and within a year or something like that. Now you're talking about space, and now you're talking about what I don't want, and that's overhead. And now you're talking about commitment. See, right now I have no commitment.
Mm-hmm.
If it starts to get hot, I can bail anytime I want and sell the stuff, and I paid nothing for it. You know what I paid? I paid, under 10%, for a lot of this stuff. And I can but when you're talking about brick and mortar, you're talking about signing your name on papers and getting real estate attorneys and everything else that goes along with it. You're talking about money, putting it out and really committing to doing something full bore. And when you start thinking about that and lifting that pen to sign those papers, that's when you start thinking, oh, I got a lot to lose. So that's when reality kind of hits you. It's like, do I really want to go that route? You know what I mean? Or is there another better way? And
I love that. I love that question because that concept, because here there are no commercial facilities that don't have at least a 3 to 5 year minimum commitment. So you're talking about probably $150,000 in rent guaranteed if you're going to sign up for a space here, because they're looking 3 to 5 years.
Tickets
at
back
least
in the day, it's
$5,000 a month. It's a lot. Go ahead.
I've been selling tickets I was selling tickets back in the day. I've sold like, I don't know, ammunition, you know what I mean? During a dry spell, I had like during Obama, when Obama was president, they had that running ammunition was scarce. I had a hook up on that, and I was shipping that stuff all over the place. I was making like $2,000 like every other week profit.
Interesting.
Drop shipping it. I was drop shipping it back, and that was like 2011 or something like that, I think it was. And I was drop shipping it back then, drop shipping ammo. I was buying it for $20 and reselling it for $60, $80, the same thing, and on the spot, and I don't know. It's just, I like your show, man. You're very informative. I appreciate it. It's like, I like to gauge myself, not where you're at, of course, and what you're making wise, but I like to say, if you're at this point and you have this many listings, or you're at this point, you have this dollar amount listed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I might be selling some of the same stuff. I might not be, but now I can look at, okay, I would have to get to this level to be able to make this much money. Cause I can look at it and say, okay, I'm here percentage wise. And if he was here, he would be right there with me. I would be right there with him at this same level. So I know I'm kind of on a right path with the amount of stuff that I'm moving and what I'm making versus what you're moving and what you're making. And not only you, but there's some other guys on YouTube I can kind of gauge with. They'll kind of like let the numbers out a little bit too. Mm-hmm. Some people kind of like stay behind the current, but you can always find stuff. Everything's recorded. Everything's out there on the internet. If you look hard enough to go ahead and get the information for it. I mean, not everybody knows to hide this or do that or whatever, but it's only helping me, You know what I mean? And it's helping you because you're growing your channel. You know, I hope you're growing. I subscribed like a couple weeks ago. I just found out about you like a week and a half ago. And I think it was like a suggestion on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's how I found out about the Orlando reseller lady. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, well, you know, there's another one. And she's right, too. You go to storage units, and they're all over the place down here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's storage units. I got storage units all over the place by me, and they're not too expensive, but that's how cheap I am. You know?
No, I got you, Craig. But I do think, I mean, this is, I don't know you, but like my thought is usually when I see people scale to the next level, it does require some type of a commitment. And usually that comes with some kind of heavy expense. So for example, if you wake up like me and you have $100 of rent due already before you've brushed your teeth, you have a different kind of fire that burns because it's different, right? So if you commit to, let's say you don't want to rent or waste money on that, but you may want to purchase a building. So for me right now, I'm looking into that. I don't want to spend 150 grand renting from somebody over 3 to 5 years. I'd rather buy the building. That's another reason why I'm switching to consignment. I want to use the money that I would put in the inventory into buying the building. Then at least I'm paying myself rent. Then that makes sense to do in California. Because otherwise, why am I doing it here when there's people selling the exact same stuff in Ohio and their rent is $300 for this place instead of $3,000? It's like 10 times cheaper to live there. You're going to have a huge advantage. So, you know, it depends, but I do recommend you take some kind of commitment, even if it's fake. Like, you know, there's Matt on the call. It's looking for a piece of property to work off of instead of paying rent. And, you know, you can artificially create that by saying, okay, I want to have 50 grand down payment on my own commercial unit in 12 months. So I need to save four grand a month to do that. Then when you wake up, you can have that $100 burning under your seat, but it's fake. You just made it up. But that you have to have some type of commitment to like center you to get all this stuff in place.
Like real quick, I know I've been talking to you for a while here, eating up a lot of time, but I know a guy who had a business over here in Orlando off Colonial Avenue. Anybody knows where that's at? But some new owners came into his shopping plaza. Okay, and his lease was due up after a year, and the new owners were watching him. He was making good money, man. He was really doing well for himself. I mean, it was his full-time gig. You know, he would just go in there, watch a store. He had somebody to do his management for him, basically. He had somebody running the store for him. And these owners, the people that bought the plaza, were watching his business and seeing how good he was doing. When it came time to renew his lease, they refused to let him renew his lease. And then what they do, you know what they did? They opened the same kind of store in that spot after they got him out.
That's funny. That's kind of how business goes, though.
That's right. I mean, that's smart business. I felt bad for him because, you know, this was his thing. You know, I mean, as his family depended on that money, and I felt bad for him, but I was thinking the whole time, I didn't say it to him, but I was like, you know what, if I was on that plaza, I might have done the same thing. As a matter of fact, I might do it to everything that comes in there that does well. And I mean, that's crappy to do, but hey, it's smart.
There's a gentleman on one of my calls that was working at a UPS store just so he could read the invoices coming in, because a lot of people sell on Amazon and they ship out of the same UPS store over and over again, right? So he got a job there to figure out what people were doing. So boxes would come in, he would look at the inbound of where it's coming from because he recognizes the outbound, and he was just reverse engineering what suppliers this guy was using. So like there's a lot of creative ways to find out where goods come from, but that's just like the world that we live in. It's very cutthroat, and as retail dies, that's giving all of us in this call an opportunity to do this, because reselling is not only popular, it is sustainable. So people are literally quitting their jobs and doing this full time, and you never know someone's situation. You never know how cheap somebody got an item. It's very challenging.
Hey, man, I got to let you go. The kids are out of practice, man.
Sounds good, Craig. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Let's go to JR. Can you speak? I'm going to unmute you. Hopefully you can chat. You're going to have to go to the bottom left of the mute. There's a arrow next to it if you can chat. So hopefully Jared can figure out the audio, but I'm going to go over his goal, which is trying to find $50 minimum profit items.
Trying.
There you go. Are you here?
Yeah.
So your goal is $50 minimum profit items. Do you want to go over? You want to just repeat what you wrote in the chat?
Yeah. So my goal is to build a store ultimately to a full-time income. And I've been doing all the typical research everybody does, and I really was trying to figure out how do I do that with a limited amount of space and a limited amount of income to start out. And I thought perhaps maybe the strategy would be to set a bottom line number of the type of item I'm looking for, or what I could get for it, and stay in that lane till I could build enough items and create enough revenue to evolve the store.
What's a full-time income for you, and where do you live?
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't even need to. I live in Las Vegas, so I don't need to replace my whole full-time income. And really, if I could just do about $3,000 in volume a month of gross profit, which would probably be, I'd say 9 or 10 in sales, I could just go full-time with that. It wouldn't take much for me.
So I can tell you for sure that's the wrong mentality, because you can't have a like just get by mentality, because you will 100% fail. You have to think like, I'm going to comfortably make $5,000 a month net, and then like if something happens, you'll still make the 3, right?
Yeah.
So way too many people jump ship too early building this because it takes a while. So I would say if you have limited working capital, then you definitely cannot go. I would recommend I recommend like $15,000 minimum. If you're going to try to make $3,000 to $5,000 a month net, you need $15,000 saved. Just for this part of it, which is the inventory part, because this is the worst thing that's going to happen. You may come upon, let's say, you get a good deal. You find something that's $6,000 or $7,000, and you can't afford it because you don't have enough capital. So you get antsy. You'll start buying stuff that doesn't qualify. It's not good. So I always recommend, like, don't go full time. Do it part time. Get another job that has relevant skills. Usually, like people skills, because mainly this is just who you know. Like if you're trying to build a $50 minimum profit store, I've never seen that scale without hardcore relationships. Like that's such a high, like the average item on eBay sells for $20. So having a $50 minimum profit means you're buying stuff for 20 and selling it for 100. The number of categories that's possible is so low that I would never recommend somebody quit and try to do that, because it's like a way too unpredictable. You could definitely go out for 8 hours and find 0 items that are $50 profit. It's way too risky.
Well, that's true, because I did go out and kind of experiment on sourcing, and I would say I spent probably a good 12 hours, and I came up with 3 items that fit $50 or above. Now that's only 3. I would need to be able to find a lot more than that. So what you're saying rings so true. It's just my experiment for my first outing of sourcing, but I'm finding that that knowledge is power, because if I knew more about more items and more products, I probably walk by things that I did not recognize as valuable, I'm sure. So there's that. There's a learning curve to it all.
Absolutely. So I would say that you can get to $100 a day part-time easily, but you need like $15,000, and then you can't waste it. You have to spend $15,000 on stuff that's going to sell within 90 days. So another issue with going with the $50 profit is you can't be impatient. You can build a store that's 100% $50 profit or more, but you have to wait to get the whole profit. You can't panic. If somebody offers you $40 profit, you have to say no. You have to wait so that you can, because if you're doing that few of items, you need to get as much profit per item as possible. When I see that happen, I can go over the model with you, which is 15 items a day, is the maximum I've ever seen somebody do. And that was an incredible system, like multiple virtual assistants, scanning all the different local marketplaces, Facebook, OfferUp, Craigslist, looking for every single category, every single thing that can earn $50 profit. I know a guy that does this. 15 items a day, 7 days a week, $50 profit every item. It's a full-time job for two people, husband and wife, just to get 15 items a day. They both work 16, like the whole day, but they're retired now. They get to work with, they get to hang out with each other all day. And the $50 profit items is around $750 income for two people. That's all right. But it takes 16 hours of looking for deals to do that. That's hard. So if you don't have like 20, 30 categories that it's impossible. Like you should definitely lower it down to like $10 or $15 profit, because that's so much easier to find.
Got it.
So that also requires a little bit more money when you play in the less profitable, because you might be spending 20 to make 10 sometimes.
Sure.
So that's a little scarier and people worry. But again, like if you're buying, I would say the more expensive the item, the one thing I do like about your model is that you're learning expensive stuff.
Right. And
Which
well,
is good.
and then
That's great.
the other part of it too is I was thinking that, and I'm just testing it, like I'm like trying to figure this out. But I was also thinking that if I'm really staying in that lane of find things people really want
Mm-hmm.
and stay in the popular item zone of the most desirable items, and maybe be willing to put out $100 or $200 on an item and be willing to get 50 or 80 bucks back on it. If I know I can turn it quickly, I mean, I would be open to that too. But again, it's just trying to figure out what my lane is going to be, and I'm a guy that does research and researching, been afraid to pull the trigger on different things and spend a few dollars on these different things that I know I need to do to create a business, not a hobby. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Just my toes in the water. I'm ready to jump in, and I'm trying to figure out which side of the pool I'm going to jump in on.
Awesome. No, I love it. I love what you're thinking. And then I would much prefer somebody approach it your way with a job, because I think it would take less than a year to save 15, 20 grand working a job and doing this on the side. Leave 100% of your money in there. Like the new store I started a month ago that I haven't taken any money out of, it went from like zero to, it has $8,000 listed already because I haven't taken any money out. The money comes in, I just buy new inventory. I've done that for 5 weeks now. It went from $200 to $5,000 because it like literally I already know what I'm gonna buy as soon as that money comes back in. So it's definitely okay to start with a limited amount of capital, and it's better. The thing is, you can't use it to pay your bills.
Yeah.
That's just the main thing. You can't use it. You can't.
Yeah,
use
I could totally see that, because I've started
Yeah.
so many businesses in the past, and when you do that, you're not creating, you're in survival mode, and I really don't feel like you can grow anything
Yep.
when you're in that mindset. So that's the other thing. I'm just trying to be patient. It's very difficult when you want something so badly, and it's like I just found this, I found you, I found this as a possibility, as I was at a point where I was frustrated one day, and I'm going, you know what? I've been an entrepreneur, tried to go into the corporate world, have a really solid corporate job right now. And I'm really at 50 years old going, is this what I really want? And I'm thinking to myself, no, I've got 2 grandbabies. I'm limiting my time doing things around my work environment. And I'm like, it's time to shift it. So, and here I am and talking to you, and I'm like, this is great. I can't wait to get going, but I want to make the right decisions, and
Yes.
that's where I'm at.
So I'm going to give you another light at the end of the tunnel. So if you have 2 full-time employees that you can pay $25 an hour, okay, that's really hard because you've got to have like a really banging business to pay $25 an hour. But if you have 2 $25 an hour businesses, you get 100% of your time back. So you could, like as an example for me, Once I had a full-time virtual assistant, I literally got like 30 hours of my week back.
Wow.
And so I can actually do this call now, even though it's not worth my time compared to reselling, because I have more time. So
Yeah.
like, and now more than ever, people are 40, 50, 60, 70 years old and they're time poor.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing. I understand being time poor is different than money poor. You can be money poor and have lots of time and people would trade that all day.
Yeah.
So that's the part. So the finish line is like you have two full-time people that are earning you more than, okay, so you're paying somebody $25 an hour, but they earn you $50 an hour.
Mhm.
Two of those is $100K a year. So that's what you need to think about. Is the difference between a hobby and a business. And actually I should be more clear. Like you can choose reselling as a job and make between 50 and 100 an hour. Or you can choose reselling as a, I think of myself as a Subway sandwich owner. I want to sell 150 things a day, like a Subway.
Right.
And the nice thing about Subway is they have a set menu. It's a replenishable. They
Got
don't
it.
look for new things. They sell the same 14 sandwiches over and over and over again. So our jobs as resellers is just figuring out the category. That's why we were talking to Teresa earlier on the beginning of the call. I was mentioning 3 categories because as I'm teaching my photographer is out looking for stuff for me right now, he's looking for outerwear, shoes, and vintage items that have that. Those are 3 of my categories I'm trying to make $100 a day net in, and that inventory is now coming to me. When I pick the businesses, I'm just thinking, is this business worth $1,000 or more in annual business? And I just need 10 of these people. I just need 10 courses to give
Right.
me this stuff at the end of the season. I need 10 barber shops that at the end of the year, they sell all their equipment to me and they buy new equipment.
Got
You
it.
just need 10 of those people and 2 people to help you process it and list it. And you can get your whole life back time-wise, but it's going to take a little bit of time, but it sounds like you're ready to do that.
Well, I'm excited. Yeah, it's kind of, I really believe in that. I believe that this is, I found exactly where I'm supposed to be. So I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for your time.
You got it. Let's go with Matt. Matt, good evening. How's it going over there? I will fix the video.
Yes, I'm doing great. Made a lot of sales today, and I'm having a great day.
Is this call firing you up? Lots of cool people.
It is so much great knowledge in this call tonight, I swear.
Yep. Cool. Well, anything new happened over the course of the day or just the daily grind?
Yes, so much new stuff. I actually have something really, really exciting to talk about tonight.
Go for it.
I did some research today in a very specific category and a very specific item, actually. And I got on Alibaba. And I have some experience with Alibaba in the past. When I was 18, I bought like a PlayStation on eBay, and then I realized, oh my gosh, whole bunch of listings on eBay have a bunch of different prices. Maybe I can buy and sell some stuff. So I started out with $100 in my PayPal account, bought and sold a whole bunch of PlayStation 1 games and stuff until I had about 900 or $1,000. And then I started researching, and I was like, I wonder what else I could sell. And I landed on socks for whatever reason. And I went to Alibaba. I found Alibaba on the internet, and I bought 200 pairs of socks for $400. And I tried to sell them on eBay, and I did okay. I made my money back, and now I'm left with like 100 pairs of socks. So I haven't had to buy socks for 7 years, but that was my experience with Alibaba 7 years ago, or 7 years ago.
That's great.
So, yeah, it was awesome. I don't know why I didn't keep doing it. Back then it would have been a really great idea to do it, but for whatever reason I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And today I got back on Alibaba because I figured out I found one item that I thought I could really do well with. And I was wondering if you had any advice. Like, has Alibaba changed at all in the past 6 or 7 years? Are there like customs or different tariffs or whatever?
It's the same. I would just place small orders at first between 500 and $5,000. Start with 500, the minimum order, get it in, learn that supplier, learn that category, And then don't be afraid of just breaking even on that first couple of orders, because that's usually how that works.
Okay, great. Because I was thinking about talking to a few different suppliers and trying to get, small sample sizes. So spending like a few $100 per supplier, and then figuring out which supplier can give me the best stuff, and then, from there, take it from there.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that's the biggest mistake is people need to be profitable the first order. And it doesn't work that way. You need to sell out. That's the most important part.
Yeah, there's got to be the demand there for what you're buying.
You can figure out how to make it profitable once it starts to sell.
Yeah. Because like the category I'm looking at, all of the sellers in the category, they're not resellers. They're not good at this. They're just people selling stuff. So I really feel like I can step in and provide great photos, free returns, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But
well, the example that I use for that is when I was trying to build a private label with those blue light blocking glasses like a little while ago. That was what this Husky was based off of, because I had this guy at a computer typing, so he's working at night to ship these packages, and then during the day he's working with those blue light blocker glasses. I was trying to make a brand, and those glasses sell really well, but there's too many people selling them. So I would just start that same process over again. What I did was I ordered a set of glasses from different manufacturers. They were like $4 or $5 each. I sold them for $20 to $30. And then I decided that I wanted to do something that not everybody could order, because like 117 people ordered the same set of glasses that I did. So I was like, this is too crowded. I want to go into something that's a little bit more expensive and more difficult to get into, because there's way too many people on the same thing.
Yeah, that's 117 people placing a bulk order, right?
Yeah, 117 people placing a bulk order.
Yeah, that's a lot. See, the category that I'm thinking about going into, it's like a reproduction of old items. Yep. I don't really want to get into the specifics of it, but it's reproductions of really valuable old stuff. So, and there's actually a market for it. There's like 13,000 that have sold, or listings that have sold in the past 90 days. So I'm thinking, that's a pretty damn big pie. If I get a slice of it, I'll be happy. And I can have different accessories and whatnot to go with the item. So
I'm gonna give you an idea based on what you just mentioned. I hope it's not the same category, but I'm just gonna say, like, as an example, this is something that people thought was gonna be huge, but it's a little bit fuzzy, which is vintage porcelain signs. Okay, so you'll see like those Coca-Cola signs that sell for $8,000 on eBay or whatever.
Yeah. I've been to every farmer's market in North Carolina, and they have them at every one.
Exactly. So there was a gentleman who came onto my call. I had to remove the video, actually. This guy did $20,000 a week on eBay. Okay, so first of all, that's really rare. I don't meet that very often. This person was making $20,000 a week on eBay, and I was like, he went over what he was doing, which was auctionzip.com, all these different websites online for storage auctions. I asked him probably 150 questions in an hour, and nothing sounded illegal. Okay, sounded like what he does is just buys all these auctions and then flips it. Then somebody found his store, because lots of people listened to my YouTube channel. Somebody like looked him up on the internet, figured out where he lives, and he was selling fake reproduction signs. So he was saying, vintage 1980s sign. And this dude was really smart, okay? Because the companies that he was making fakes of no longer exist.
Yeah.
So there was no copyright infringement. So this guy had he probably had 30% negative feedback. Okay, I've never seen that high, like 200 transactions, 80 negative. People kept on buying from him, didn't care. eBay didn't shut him down because there was no rights holder. There was no like victim on the intellectual property.
Yeah, there's no brand.
No brand. Yeah, so he was just killing it. And so there was 80 people unhappy out of 200, but another 120 people that were like, worth it. even if it's fake. I still want it in my man cave. Like he was just killing it. And also it's kind of like not technically illegal.
Yeah, there's some gray area
There's
there.
some gray area there. So it was very funky, but anyway, that's a concept that if done right, you can kind of be in the that's like there's three sides to every coin, the heads, tails, and the edge. That's like an edge case.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Like when I was researching today on eBay with the solds, I was finding this one guy, this one seller who was selling a lot of this particular item, and he only has 95% positive feedback. And I looked at his negative feedback, and it was all of it was like, "This is fake. Don't buy from this buyer,
Right.
or don't buy from the seller." So yeah. I mean, if I got in that category, I would definitely explicitly say reproduction in capital letters in the title.
Yeah, that's a category to definitely explore. I think everyone, you can move towards business to business. You can also manufacture your own good. And that's how I was going to make my glasses stand out, because everyone's selling these glasses. I wanted to sell them for $30. There needs to be a heavier brand attached to it so that people will spend that much, because you can get the exact same glasses generic for $10 less. So I like the idea of manufacturing your own goods. If you could just slightly improve it, like the best example I can think of is like Blend Tech blenders. All they did to advertise was it's better than a Vitamix.
Interesting.
And people were like, "Oh, okay. Let me see if it really is." They would automatically give that company credibility because of their marketing. They ended up, I believe they got sued for that marketing campaign, but like that's very clever to figure out how to elevate your status by just saying better than Nike.
Yeah.
Nike wouldn't let you do that, but that's just, it's the name of the game. I love it.
Yeah, and another thing about this category that I'm into, I'm not going to keep talking for much longer, but
right.
Another thing, I can actually build stuff out of wood that can accompany the stuff that I'm selling, and it would greatly improve the value of it. So if I could just come up with a template of, how to build something out of wood and just mass produce it over and over and over and over again, buy a whole bunch of the supplies at once and stuff, I could really get it going. But I don't know if there's as much demand as I'm thinking there is,
All right. Well, let's chat about it more. Let's go to Bill. Bill, can you chat?
Howdy.
How's it going? Yeah, you made a comment that you said there's a difference between amateur sellers and professional sellers. Absolutely.
Well, I was just thinking, I think it was Matt that was sharing. And, with all the time that we're putting morning calls, night calls, trying to work on our game in so many areas, we got to be committed to being professional, because this is too much work just to be a sideline project, because there's so much potential with what we're doing. And anyway, that point just came up in my mind. So my day today, I shipped in 5 boxes to Amazon, and it was a couple $1,000s in product. Some of the product I actually bought this morning on a run to Walmart. And what I found myself doing now, every time I'm in Walmart or any other retail store, I'm going to the clearance section real quick, just popping through. And I found an item there for $1 that is selling right now for $5.99 on Amazon. So with $1 investment, you make back $1.26. So it's 100% ROI. So I bought 20, and it's a replenishable thing. So I'm just going to just do a little test with that. Just see how it goes. So 5 boxes into Amazon today, and I did ship my normal eBay and Poshmark items. Slow weekend in both, but I had my first $10,000 month, 10,500. So I'm totally jazzed about that.
Killing it. Love it.
So thank you very much.
No problem, Bill. That's great. That's a great testament, because when I first met you, I think you were only at 2,000 or 3,000, and just the continuous adjustment of finding better products, finding better ways to move it, thinking about different platforms. That all happened in the last few months, which is awesome. I want to clarify in the chat. For consignment, what I'm doing is marketing to get people to bring stuff to me. And that's just me emailing companies locally that I think have goods at the end of the season that they want to give to me. That's what I'm looking for, business to business. I'm not looking for some dude that's like, did my Mickey Mouse watch sell yet for $40? Where's my cut? Like, that's the wrong. I'm not looking for that person. That would be annoying to try to keep up with that. I'm looking for companies that are going to give me at least $10,000 worth of stuff to sell. That for them, $4,000 is worth it versus $1,000 to some liquidator that pays cash. I'm like, give it to me, I'll sell it, and I'll give you 40% of it back instead of you just giving it away to somebody, essentially donating it. They can get the same amount just donating the goods to Goodwill. And the reason why they do that is because they need that space. Okay, so they're not stupid, and it's not charity. It's just that when you have a retail space of 400 square feet that people are walking through, you need that to all be full price stuff. You can't have it be all discount stuff because you need to pay your rent. So moving towards business consignment is huge for me because these companies, they need that retail space for people who pay retail. It's also really weird when you're a reseller and you get goods for 90% off. How do you pay retail for something after you find out that most goods are thrown away at the end of their sales cycle? It's kind of mind blowing. Let's go to Chris Woods. Can you chat for a moment?
Yeah, I can.
What's going on? Where you live?
I live in Southeast Missouri.
Amazing. I think we've chatted before, right?
Yep, I was here last week.
Yeah. What's going on? So what's new?
No, nothing's new. Just trying to learn a little bit on your show here.
So you're the rare coin seller?
Yeah. I don't know if I call it rare coins. I like to deal in graded bullion coins. I didn't clarify that last week.
Okay.
I think I told you that I didn't get in this as a business, but more as a financial. I'd invested in silver, saved silver over the years, and I wanted an easy, quick way to convert silver back into cash. And instead of going to a dealer or a coin shop or whatever, I thought, well, I'll open an eBay store. I'd had an eBay store before. And that way I can sell them directly and get the full amount. So I started selling what I had bought, which is basically just raw silver. And I don't know if anybody on here follows silver, but a few years ago, silver bottomed out $14, $15 an ounce.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at this point, I'm going to be losing money on selling my silver. So I started looking at the graded coins, which seem to be holding their value. And I just kind of shifted from raw coins to these graded coins by companies that, like they do a comic book, they'll put it in a case and they'll give it a graded number. So I found out that there's a huge tendency for coins to come out in 1 year, and within a couple of years, they've just doubled and tripled in their value. So I started trying to pay attention to which coins I thought were going to go up, and I've had some pretty good success with that. And then I've learned certain things I can do just on a regular basis that just make money. Here's a tip. If you wanted to sell silver coins, you could go on to eBay and do a search and just put in silver quarter MS69. And every one of those graded coins comes up, bid $7.55. Make sure that includes your shipping and handling. And then you can turn around and sell almost all those coins for $14 plus. And then on top of that, I don't give free shipping, so I charge shipping and handling on top of that. So basically on all those quarters, you can just about double your money.
Wow.
So, I mean,
it has one of the lowest fees in this category, right?
Right. Yes. There's I only pay a 6% final value. So, because I pay, I usually charge $4 in shipping and handling for one coin. So that's going to cover the shipping and handling and all my packaging material and everything. And usually come out a few cents to the good on that. As far as eBay fees and stuff and PayPal fees. So I just generally make about $7 a coin each one of those. And I can do as many of those as I want. I got a stack of them right here. I'm getting ready to put
That is a phenomenal tip. Guys, if you guys are looking for sold category that's hot, or in my opinion, hot. When you click the sold listing, so with Chris's suggestion, I just looked at that category. There are more sold in the 90 days than what's available for sale, and this is not including replenishable sellers. So if somebody sold 30 coins, only going to show up as one sold listing. So this is a very strong category. Unlike like most clothing categories, as an example, if you were to look up Banana Republic dress shirt, there might be 600 sold and 30,000 listed. That would be considered a horrible category to sell in because it's the opposite. But let's go. Matt, did you have a question?
Yeah, just to clarify what you just said, when you click on sold,
Yeah,
it doesn't give you multiple solds. Like when you just said 30 items, that
it
only
doesn't.
shows up as one.
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That helps a lot.
Yeah. So that's another reason why solds can be misleading. So people are thinking like, oh, it doesn't sell very well. For example, I sold a pair of Cole Haan loafers, and this lady was like, it only shows like 3 sold. It's not a very good one. And then you look at the 3 that sold, one person sold 600 pairs on that one listing, right? So obviously, it's just a little bit fuzzy.
Yeah, another nice part of that too is, like I said, I do this on eBay, so I don't have to go out and source stuff at thrift stores and stuff. So I do Pinterest and stuff. So a lot of times I'll do my partner network on Pinterest, and while I'm searching for the coins, even if I don't buy them, I'll go ahead and partner network them and get some money off them that way too.
I love it. Yeah. So Video Game Source also mentioned that trading cards are a cool niche. Graded coins and trading cards are fantastic. I think because they're limited in supply. Is that right? They only make a certain number of graded coins in a certain issue.
Yeah, those are kind of like coins. I mean, you can get a lot of them in a limited place in your.
Got it.
Like I said, I'm sitting right here, and my whole eBay operation takes up less than 6 by 6. I've got $30,000 worth of silver coins sitting behind me. And
I love it. It's so cool.
The shelf next to me with my inventory, and then I've got my computer, my scale here in front of me, and I just do it all in one shot. Like I said, I've got plenty of shelf space. I got like 2 shelves just full of junk. I can even easily double my inventory and not have to worry about taking up any more floor space.
Yeah, that's a huge space saver. I love it. And you live in an area doesn't have expensive space, and you still have a small store as far as physical space.
I'm not interested in having a storefront. I own several properties. One of the buildings I own is zoned commercial. It's been a baseball card shop, and it's been a bait shop and a few other things. And if I was really wanting to open a shop for some reason, I just could use that. But it doesn't make any sense. The amount of money that I'd have to lay out, and I really probably wouldn't increase my sales a whole lot.
I mean, that category, no.
So, but yeah, it's nice being here as far as operating costs. My property tax for the house we live is less than $400 a year. So.
Oh my! What?
Yeah, I went ahead and paid for this house in cash. I mentioned last week we had a fire and we lost our old house, and I just used it in my eBay account when we bought a new house. So.
Oh my good! My property tax is more than that per month. Way more.
I just got done mowing my 2-acre lawn. I mean, we give.
I don't even know. I think eventually if I move out of California, my mind is going to be blown because that's just like, I love it. Yeah. Teresa's property tax is 16 grand. Yeah, no, it is crazy. Not living on the coast makes a big difference.
Well, I own a lot of land that's a piece of land that's right on a river up here on the Black River, and I pay $9 a year property tax on it.
That's so cool. And you can source from eBay, sell back on eBay, and buy some property in the middle.
Yeah, I'm so rural. If I couldn't do that, it would really be a problem. Because, like I said, we have a post office in town. The town I live in, I think there's 300 people, and we have a post office, but it's I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they have these like self-serve post office.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lady works there part time, and she's not there on Saturdays. And she's there very limited hours during the day, and then it's all just P.O. boxes. So you go in there and get your own mail, and I drop every evening at 10 o'clock. I go and drop off all my packages in the drop box. Which I was going to ask you, I'm thinking about going top rated plus. Is that really worth it? You think?
You get a slight discount if you are top rated plus and you offer free shipping, I believe.
Yeah.
It's it's all right. I actually think you make more money when you charge for shipping.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
personally. The only reason I would switch to free shipping is if you're like me and you're lazy with accounting, then it's easier when you're free shipping because you don't have to pay a final value fee on also the shipping cost. And the top rated discount is nice. It's like a couple $100, but yeah, I actually think you do earn more money charging for shipping because customers don't care usually. If the shipping charge is nominal, I think a lot of customers don't notice.
No, they don't. I mean, I
Yeah,
just
they don't.
sold last night. I sold 3 coins, and they were $50 a piece and $4 shipping and handling a piece. He just bought the 3 coins and he paid the $12 shipping and handling. And I went ahead and shipped it out with an insurance and everything, and I just went ahead and refunded him the balance of what I didn't spend. I think that makes me look good because it's like, oh, I just bought these 3 coins and he's going to give me a little bit of refund. He didn't ask, and I still came out ahead on it.
I just had not a scammer, but someone said that the item was damaged, and I said no problem. I have free returns. Go ahead and send it back. And then they said, "Oh, I was hoping you would just give me a partial refund for it." And I said, "No problem. I'll just pay for the return shipping." And they said, "No, I want a partial refund." And then eBay ended up just denying that return request because they've been sending that request to everything they buy.
Right.
So.
Yeah, if anybody wants their money back, I always make them send it back.
Yeah, just get it back, and then they'll use. Sometimes it'll just go away.
In the category I sell in, I really don't have a lot of returns. Maybe 2 or 3 a year.
So Teresa just mentioned that shipping doesn't work anymore. You have to have free returns and 1-day handling. So you wouldn't really have that issue, especially since you have that 10 p.m. cutoff.
Yeah, it's kind of what I got used to. I figured I'd drop everything off, and then they're pretty good in the morning. They come in and they scan everything in at 9:30. So,
dang, that's amazing. Trying to think here. There's 300 people probably within 100 feet of me. So that's like so interesting to me. The whole town of less people. I wonder what that's like. I should probably do a tour of the eBay people that I meet on my channel and see what it's like in different places.
I don't know. You probably wouldn't like it. There is absolutely no businesses here in town at all. There's no gas station. There's no convenience store. There's no restaurant. Well, no, that's not true. Somebody's opened a little restaurant, a trailer. And other than that, there's absolutely nothing here in town except for the post office.
Okay. Well, maybe I wouldn't like it, but it's cool. It's just cool to meet different people on this call. That's fantastic. Cool. So I think I'd already asked you this last week, but in 90 days, where do you want to be?
My goal basically is just to make sure my inventory is bigger every day. That's my goal. So in 90 days, it'll be 90 items more, I guess. My real goals are to the end of the year. I think at the end of this year, I'm going to go ahead and try to operate this less as a financial tool and more as a full-time business. It really doesn't seem to be any caps. It's all just a matter of scale in this category. Matter of fact, recently one of the big bullion dealers blocked me. I just couldn't figure out why until I went back to their store and looked at it. I'm getting to be about their size. So I think they thought me as a threat. So, I don't know what good that did in blocking me. I didn't really do any business with them. They just blocked me. I would like to talk to other bullion dealers and see if maybe Paradise Mint had blocked them for some reason.
Yeah, sometimes, dealing with competition, I don't know. That's always a touchy subject.
It was weird. I just looked at one of their coins and one day and I clicked on it and said, "You're not allowed to buy this." I'm like, "What?" So I familiar with them over on Instagram, and so I contacted them on Instagram because I'm over there too. And I said, "What's going on?" And then they just didn't know what was going on. I don't know what you're talking about. I said, "Well, you blocked me."
I've never heard that one before. That is hilarious, actually.
I don't know if they thought that hurt me in some way and was going to slow me down, but
no.
They usually list about 1,000 items. They usually have about 1,000 items listed, and between 5 and 6 right now, but I think at the end of the year, I'd like to go about 1,000.
Okay. I love the idea of growing your store each day. That's such a tangible, real world, easy thing to think about, and you can hit your goal every day instead of something arbitrary in the future. And I also love that you can pay your property tax in one day on eBay. So that makes me very happy that exists. Cool. Well, everybody, thank you so much for coming. I do this call every week around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll see you guys next week. It's always the same number if you want to join in. I will fix the the video next time, so we'll be able to see everybody. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.